So hello, everybody, and really excited to have this opportunity with this distinguished forum. But just to kick it off, to set like some stage and some context for you all, right? So the world's largest accommodation provider owns no real estate. That's right. And the world's most valuable retailer owns no inventory. Anyone know who that is? Yeah, maybe Alibaba. The world's most popular media actually owns no content. So think Facebook. And the world's largest taxi company doesn't own any vehicles. So that might be Uber. So let's dwell on one more topic, is the world's largest bank has no cash. That's right. So setting the stage for this amazing group, because we're going to talk about something that maybe some of you know and some of you don't, and I hope we can get a poll running during the session. But I'm with Nanda, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Tokocrypto, Kushal, who is the Director of Lifestyle and Growth Marketing at Binance, Shaun, who's the VP of Growth and Operations at CoinMarketCap, and last but not least, Anmol, who's the Regional Director at MoEngage. So just to kick it off, maybe we can start by doing a quick 30-second intro on each of you. Let's start with you, Nanda.
Oh, why do I always have to start first? Nice to meet you all. Hi, Ronen, how are you? I'm Nanda Ivens, the CMO of Tokocrypto. I'm probably older than most of you, but I just look young because I have no hair. I've been in this wonderful business of advertising and marketing for the past 26 years. So yeah, you can call me a veteran or you can call me an old man. You know, I'm probably using crutches already soon. So, but yeah, that's me.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. And I'm a mobile dinosaur, if that's any further appreciation for our mutual old age here.
you and me both. I think we started in this business when there was still sort of like, you know, J2ME or J2EE programming, right? Yes.
But probably half the audience wasn't even born yet. But
you know, most of the audience probably wasn't even born yet. But I think we stay relevant at least.
We have to, right? Kushal.
Hey, Ronen. How are you?
Hey. Give us a 30-second intro. Hey,
I lead the growth marketing and lifecycle marketing at Binance here. So I manage all the user engagement of all the active users and, you know, reducing churn and all that fancy stuff. And also I manage the growth marketing activities that we do on the platform to engage the users, to educate the users, to spread the crypto literacy to the world. Yeah, that's me.
Super cool. Super cool. Welcome. And Shaun, how about you?
Hey, Ronen. Thanks for having me here. So hi, everyone. My name is Shaun. I'm the VP of Growth and Operations at CoinMarketCap. For those who haven't heard of us before, do check out our website. I think we are the world's largest, cryptocurrency tracker of prices and market cap across the entire crypto space. And currently, we track close to about 11,000 over different cryptocurrencies. My role within the company is to work on everything related to user traffic and revenue growth. And that meant, from a business development, partnership, marketing standpoint, I kind of focuses on different products that helps us to drive more adoption, more users into the crypto space itself. And yeah, very, very nice to have, everyone here chatting about crypto and user acquisition.
Absolutely. And what a time to do that, right? Anmol, let's get your intro here.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Ronen, for doing this and for a great introduction to begin with. My name is Anmol. I'm the Regional Director for MoEngage, helping brands grow in Southeast Asia with their retention and engagement strategies. Been in the AdTech, martech space for now around 15 years. So I've helped brands specifically in acquisition, then moved to product discovery. And the last few years have been into retention and engagement. So also a crypto enthusiast. I'm excited to talk and learn to a lot of people who are already neck deep into it and see what I can pick up from there. And if I can contribute a bit around how we can drive growth, that'll be the best outcome of today's conversation.
That's awesome. So we have a marketing dinosaur, an ad tech dinosaur, and a mobile dinosaur. That's pretty cool. And we're talking about probably one of the most disruptive things that has happened in our lifetime. So let's jump on board and kick this off. But before we can do that, I think it's important that we actually lay out what exactly is a cryptocurrency. I mean, this is something that has metastasized into like a $2 trillion monster, right? And I mean, I don't even know if we can say FOMO, if that continues to hold true. But smart and wealthy people are throwing money at this, and actually, I would love to know if that is what the customer base is. Like, what is a crypto customer base? I don't know, Nanda, can you tell me?
That's an interesting question. I mean, to be honest, when I first started into the crypto space, trying to define the segment was quite difficult, right? Especially in the Indonesian market. I mean, if you think about it, in Indonesia last year, it was only about 1 million people that are actually investing into crypto. So if you kind of define it by coiners and non-coiners, it doesn't really apply at that time, right? So it was more about people that were left out of investment, right? More so that way, and people that needed to invest into something that previously wasn't available to them. So that was one of the things that we kind of went with. Basically, we're like, okay, well, the trust in the crypto industry in Indonesia was completely shot to pieces because a whole bunch of scammers came on board and did a rug pull in 2018, and then a lot of these coiners were sort of saying, well, actually, don't go in there because there's a whole bunch of landmines that you have to deal with. But then building that trust, and actually at the end of the day, we basically said, well, actually these people, they couldn't invest into stocks and shares in the Indonesian market because the barrier to entry was so high, right? It was massive. You had to have like 15 million rupiah, which is equivalent to about $1,000. And most Indonesians don't have $1,000 inside their bank account. But imagine, how many Indonesians has 50,000 rupiah, which is about 50, Sing cent, or equivalent to about 30 USD cent, right? There's a lot of those, right? So you lower the barrier of entry, and for them to be able to invest into crypto, and kaboom, right? And obviously you had to educate them, you had to engage with them, and you had to empower them to do so. And then it went from 1 million crypto enthusiasts in Indonesia to 8 million in 1 year's time, right? So abracadabra, little magic sprinkles, obviously with the help of the likes of AppsFlyer and MoEngage as well, right? Because we are also your customers, as you know, right? So yeah, a little bit. That's a little bit. I mean, if you want to know more about why people invest into crypto, I think it was just the right time, right? People were, oh my God, weren't you bored, Ronen? Right? During that whole lockdown space, sitting at home and doing webinars and calls again and again and again, and you were still probably in your boxer shorts and then with a suit on top type of thing. Yeah, and people just needed something else, man. They needed something which is a little bit more exciting. They needed something which is, gets their heart pumping, right? Especially if you're scalping and trading, people are like, oh yeah, it goes up, I made 20%. And then they go to sleep and they wake up and, turns out they lost about 100% or 70% or something like that. But I mean, that adrenaline rush, they needed it as well. And, there's only so much exercises you can do at home, right? So yeah. I guess that that was the catalyst, and I think the pandemic was a blessing in disguise for the crypto industry as well. So yeah, we just needed to know exactly how to push the right button for the consumers to come on board and take the ride with us and feel a little bit FOMO, but not so FOMO, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I mean, FOMO, non-FOMO, it's just such a dynamic time, right? And things continue to change and evolve at such a blistering pace. And this is what I would say it's what gets us up in the morning, right? And for the record, I decided that I was going to dress up this morning, and I'm not in boxer shorts. I actually wore proper shorts.
Good to know.
Good to know. Just wanted to clear everyone's vivid imagination for a second. Like, Shaun, I would love to know, and I'm sure the audience would love to know, what the hell is going on in the world of crypto? I mean, this is probably the best time to be doing a webinar, right? We have Bitcoin at what is it, at 53,000 right now. It must be a golden time to do marketing. What's going on, Shaun? Tell us from your magic terminal there that you have of 11,000 tokens running around, going pop, 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 pop everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we are 10 months into 2021, but I think for all those who have been following the market, it's just been a roller coaster ride, ever since the beginning of the year, where we saw Bitcoin and the rest of the coins just skyrocketed to the peak in May, and then it just came crashing down in June, July, and now it's slowly recovering and going to a new peak. So I think from that itself, you could see how the whole crypto space has just been growing and evolving over time, right? I think a year back, I was looking through the data. We the entire cryptocurrency market is probably about 350 billion in total market cap. Now it's close to 2 trillion market cap. So I think you kind of see how that has also kind of grown from a market valuation standpoint. And internally, when we look at the kind of users, the data coming in, our user base has grown by more than 10 times since the beginning of the year as well. So I think fundamentally, from a market sentiment standpoint, the whole market is booming. You see a lot more new users coming into the space, trying to figure out what is cryptocurrency, how do I get into the cryptocurrency space? And I think like what Nanda mentioned, I think historically crypto has always been, about the traders and the investors and people who has a bit of spare money, trying to get in the space. But I think the whole industry has just been evolving so quickly that in the past 6 months, I would say there is this big evolution in the emerging markets, in Indonesia, in the Philippines, in India, for example, where people are actually earning by playing games, right? I think that's the whole new phenomenon of not just crypto investors and traders, but crypto gamers, and they are actually earning more than what they could have earned by taking on a regular job. And I think frankly, because of COVID as well, there is a lot of people who lost their job in emerging markets trying to make ends meet. So I think we are starting to see there's a lot more adoption of crypto, where this kind of games, obviously with the right mechanics behind it, does allow people to survive or to make ends meet from a survival standpoint. I think that's pretty amazing, seeing how those adoption has happened in Indonesia, in the Philippines especially, with Axie Infinity being the main market leader in the space itself. But yeah, I think overall it's just been a roller coaster ride. Very excited about Q4, which historically has always been a bit of a bullish market. If you look at what's happened in the past couple of years, right? Q3 has always been a bit of a lull period, bearish period. Q4, I think this for some miracle reason, like Nanda says again, like some magic, potion, things just started accelerating in Q4. So I'm very excited about this.
Super excited, and you mentioned Axie Infinity. Even though it's come down from where it is, right? Still, what it's accomplished is absolutely mind-boggling, and especially in the space. So there'll be haters out there who try and hate, right? But at the end of the day, a game that's managed to reach the revenue run rate of Angry Birds is quite exceptional, right? So hats off to them. Kushal, I'm sure people want to hear from you, because you're heading up basically one of the largest crypto exchanges in Binance, right? And you're doing some amazing things there. How are you optimizing conversion rates in the industry that has firstly a tremendous amount of fluctuation? And I want to add one more caveat. at times like this right now, where currencies are approaching all-time highs, does it make it easier or more difficult to acquire?
I think the all-time highs always help. So definitely, it piques the interest of many users who are sitting on the fence and thinking, okay, what do I do? I think it gives a good opportunity for them to just like get a sense of it and understand what's happening to the market. But going back to your first question, Ronen, like about the conversion rates and fluctuating markets and all those things, what I see is, irrespective of how the market goes, up, down, whatever rush, and how many ever registrations are happening today, tomorrow, I think sticking to the fundamentals always helps. And that is what like I have tried in like last few months here, and I think it has worked in improving the way we are running our campaigns. And predominantly, it helps a lot if we have the backing of the trust of the brand. And I think Binance gets that to the table. And it helps a lot. So I don't have to convince a lot about the brand whenever I'm especially talking to the users who are on the site and trying to get converted. So that helps a lot. And again, the clear value proposition. So again, like who else is there to provide a better value proposition about crypto that Binance? So it's I think it makes the life of the brand, the trust and the value proposition easier for me. I think I'm fortunate there. The next is again, it becomes like our full responsibility of like me and people in my team and the product and all that is eliminating the barriers for conversion, right? So now it's like the ease of use cannot be overstated. So making it easy for every user, be it like the power user of crypto versus somebody who is like a novice or a retail user who comes and wants to just like wants to know what is BTC. So I think educating them and making sure the barriers are gone, I think that helps a lot significantly. Talking about education and at every point, again, everybody here, Nanda, Shaun, everybody will like agree with me. I think education is such a key aspect, especially in an industry which is so nascent. I think we can say few months easily. So I think that the education at every touch point, like wherever possible, we try to educate users, educate as much as possible. And of course, incentivization doesn't help. Doesn't hurt. So we throw in that to add some excitement to the mix of it. And yeah, by that, I think it doesn't matter. So if I have like 10x traffic coming next month by making sure the fundamentals are taken care, I maintain a healthy conversion rate, improving it on day-by-day basis.
That's great. And dear audience, probably this poll just popped up on your screen. So are you doing a HODL or not yet? Would love to know, and we'll publish these results in a little bit. Nanda, shall we pick on you again, since I know you don't like to talk that much? You guys are making a lot of noise, right, in Indonesia, but you're also going outside of Indonesia and really spreading the word around the world. And since you're a marketing dinosaur, right? How does marketing crypto compare to other categories that you've been involved in, especially when we're talking about engagement?
Well, I think first things first. I mean, there's a lot of education that needed to be done, right? Especially in the Indonesian market. I mean, the reason why, I mean, if you look at the total population of Indonesia, about 280 million people, out of that, the financial inclusion people that are actually bankable are less than 20%, I'd say, right? And then their understanding of investment is even lower, right? Again, I mentioned last year, now towards more the money market side of things. Money market in Indonesia, capital market has been around for what, 25 or 22 years. Mutual funds and things like that was created about 22 years ago. But yet there's only about 4 million people that engage with the capital market on a daily basis, right? So now, whose fault is that? I guess you can go back to the money market companies, the security firms and things like that, and said you didn't educate, right? You just create this exclusivity for rich people to invest and make more money. But for the rest of us, mere mortals, right? There was no availability of investment as such. So we needed to engage the users, the potential users, and educate them, like really educate them, right? Because things like we made an app called Cryptoversity, for God's sake, right? In order for people to actually go through the steps of understanding what crypto investing is all about, and also how to trade, right? And then yeah, we have YouTube. I mean, if you go to our YouTube channel, it's a crazy amount of content in terms of how to trade and things like that. So this is part of the onboarding process. I mean, we spoke to the team, the Binance team in Africa, and they're pretty much doing the same as well, because it is that new, it's a new thing, right? I mean, I remember when I announced to my friends and said, oh yeah, I'm in Tokocrypto, and they're like, my God, you're going into crypto? Isn't that really speculative? Isn't that, are you crazy? And all these kind of things. But it's the same as when, I came back to Indonesia and I was selling digital marketing in 2008. People thought I was crazy. I was nuts, right? They're like, oh, Nanda, there's only 750,000 Indonesian people using Facebook. And I was like, well, you watch, right? You wait and watch, right? And I was right. As I think, we've been right about how to approach this, because, it is all about educating. It is all about engaging, and it's all about empowering them to actually, want to be able to trade and trust that if somebody says it's speculative, yeah, of course, everything is speculative. You buy a house anywhere in the world, it's speculative. I had a house in London, and then 2008 crashed, and then the value of the house went down, right? So, if that's not speculation, buying, investing into crypto is the same. But again, I think it is more about what we are trying to do is also not just about making money, Ronen. It's also about creating an industry and building an ecosystem, right? For our token, which is TKO, but also for Indonesia, right? Building that community base and actually saying, well, we want to do more for the industry, right? Supporting blockchain projects. We supported projects from Vietnam, right? And we supported Axie Infinity. We've supported, a whole bunch of other projects as well, and in Indonesia as well. So I think by building the ecosystem and building the industry, I think we could create that kind of sense of, crypto legitimacy, so to speak, right? It needs to go mainstream. It will become mainstream, right? And I think Shaun will probably say, yeah, yes, that's exactly where we want to go as well, And because, even on the regulatory side, right? If you read the regulation of the Indonesian government, for us as an Indonesian exchange to list a token, guess what, Shaun? It needs to be top 500 of CoinMarketCap, right? I'm doing you a favor right there, my friend. You can send me some token later. But my point is that there needs to be some sense of legitimacy towards crypto, and I think that's what we're doing. That's why we've kind of struck a chord, so to speak, in the eyes of the users, potential users and investors of crypto. While our competitors are saying simple and safe, we're saying, hey, we want to educate you, right? So there you go.
Yeah, that's always the way forward. If you're trailblazing, right? You need to pave the dirt road so that everyone can travel on it, and it does take a few trailblazers to do that. We have the results from the poll popped up here. It looks like about 1/3 of the people are holding crypto and 2/3 are not. So looks like you guys have some marketing to do, huh? So Anmol, like just now Nanda talked about the engagement strategy and how they are really kind of paving the road here. And I'm sure you've seen tons of different verticals, being an ad tech dinosaur, right? And what's unique about this sector that you guys have not seen in other sectors, and what is similar?
So I think this is what came about last night. I was having a conversation with Shaun, and he put this line out. He said, crypto is about putting the power in the hands of the user, because I was trying to get a line of thinking about how crypto users could possibly think. What sort of experience do we want to build for them? And that line was a good enough point for me to then start seeing things from that perspective. Now, this was always the case. Brands are already grappling with the fact that users are taking control of how they want to engage with the brands. And now you have the crypto users who feel the power or feel the need of power to be in their hands even more. To add to that, you have a sector which is growing almost at 10x. There's a new business model every quarter, every month, and you hear of something new and you're like, okay, what's this new piece of business within the crypto space? So everything's moving really fast, and it is becoming quite competitive from that standpoint. Now, this is of course going to be a huge game changer in the way customer engagement is done. As Nanda mentioned, a majority of the portion is going to be around educating people. In the past as well, we've seen a lot of the education is done by technology solution providers, demystifying this ad tech, martech world, and where does the CDP stop, and where does the DMP kick in, and where does the DMP stop, and where does the CRM kick in. We still do it on a regular basis. Imagine now adding to it, how does crypto work? What are some of the things that we need to look at? What's this new consumer base looking like? So a massive amount of communication one has to be doing with the brand is around educating them around the technology itself, which is a constant. And then you've got this whole crypto area where you've got to kind of inform them about how the user flow is changing, how the expectations of the users are changing. So that's where I feel this sector is going to be a bit more encouraging and interesting to look at, because of what Nanda mentioned, right? It's just adrenaline rush. All the other sectors, people have developed a bit of vertical expertise, or organizations have. I think at MoEngage, we've been fortunate enough to work with some of the biggest brands in crypto. So we are feeling already that we are ahead in terms of the curve of developing that vertical expertise and helping more brands as we continue to scale.
That's fantastic, and great perspective from both sides of the equation. And if we, like, obviously, part of engaging means that you first need to acquire users, right? And I'm sure there's many ways to acquire users, and I mean, let's talk a little bit about acquisition, right? Is it mostly driven by organic growth in the crypto business, or is paid acquisition the way to go, and is every channel open for this type of activity, right? Shaun, you've been quiet, so let's pick on you for a second.
No, I think it's a great question. I'll just talk from CMC standpoint or from CoinMarketCap standpoint, right? And maybe the rest could chime in here. But I think the thing different about the crypto space is that on one hand, like what Anmol was saying earlier, giving power back to the people. So what we are seeing as a potential acquisition channel is these projects and these companies building really strong communities in the crypto space itself. And that's where, even from an educational standpoint, it's no longer just from a centralized, system where, a company creates all these different interactive, engaging content and funnel it down to the users to acquire them. I think content education is coming from all different platforms. I got my first, source of content education from Twitter by following all the, Twitter influencers or the crypto influencers in the Twitter space. So I think that is where, we are seeing a big shift in terms of how we think about acquisition and just riding along that trend from a distribution standpoint. On the other hand, I think if you look at how CMC business model is, we are predominantly an information site. People search for something, we hope they land on our site. And given that, we have such a big domain authority in the Google space, when people search for things like, Bitcoin price, Dogecoin price, or, whatever kind of price related search terms, chances are they will probably see CoinMarketCap's website in the #1 or #2 ranking. And that is really our main source of acquisition channels, right? You kind of multiply that by the 11,000 different cryptocurrencies we have, by the 20 different languages that we have. You're talking about hundreds and thousands of pages that potentially will be ranked at the top for whatever search terms that users are searching for. So that became one of our biggest growth driver from an organic search standpoint. And we actually spend very little money on paid advertising, given that we have such a strong SEO domain authority in the space itself. So I think it really varies from company to companies. But if we look at it from CMC standpoint, SEO becomes our biggest acquisition channel. If we look at different projects or different companies or different exchanges, building the community, building that engagement within the community becomes an excellent source of acquisition for the users, right? Because they buy into something, they believe that project, they want to be part of it. That's where that kind of viral loop or referral loop between users and new users that they bring in becomes very attractive in terms of as an acquisition channel. So I think that's probably how I would look at the the crypto space right now in terms of acquisition channels for users.
Cool. And I imagine that your audience is probably more on the professional side. I mean, versus the average let's call it the day trader or the one who holds for a while.
That used to be the case. I would say that used to be the case maybe a year back. And I think in the past 6 to 9 months, we start seeing this big shift in users who are not just your typical crypto traders and investors who want to come to CoinMarketCap to look at prices. I think people are coming to understand what is crypto. And because of what I just mentioned about us having that domain authority in a lot of search intent phrases, they just somehow landed on our site. And they have no use of looking at prices because they aren't even investors in the first place. So what we decided to then redirect or reinvest a lot of our focus on is building up that media content arm within CMC, such that we are able to drive a lot more educational content through the website itself. So in the past, I would say 9 months, we have kind of put out more than 1,500 articles on different topics: the what is guides, the how to guides, the country guides and stuff like that, so that whatever kind of information that the users want to search for, they land on CMC and they come to our website. And then obviously with the product itself, we think about retention and referral from that standpoint. But yeah, I think we are seeing this big shift in users who are not your typical traders, the new users coming, and we are really thinking about how do we reposition our product such that we are not just the data authority in the crypto space, but we also become that content authority in the crypto space. And that's why we kind of term it, that product itself, CMC Alexandria, which kind of, is basically, if you're familiar with the Library of Alexandria, is that one place where all the information and knowledge kind of holds, right? So I think that's how we think about acquisition of content for the new users at this point.
Super cool. And Kushal, I mean, you guys are one of the biggest exchanges in the world. And what was the early days like in acquiring users, and what is it like today, right? I mean, is it still free crypto for refer a friend, or what are some of the hacks that you guys have employed?
I don't remember that those days at least. So, but again, echoing what Shaun mentioned, I think content plays a very powerful role in our industry and the stage that we are at. And the content, like Shaun mentioned, we have our own version of education content. We call it Academy. I haven't even completed 0.1% of that content. And if I ever go through that, I think I'll get a PhD in crypto. I'll be like Dr. Kushal or something like that. So there's so much content available, and I think that helps a lot in building that strength that we have to attract the organic traffic and convert from there. And of course, the partners that we have, like the referrals that come in, like Nanda mentioned about the YouTubers educating, right? And when this was week 1 for me, and I was looking new user conversion and all those things. And in Africa, I think it's in Nigeria, I was seeing like a spike every time on Friday. Like I was like, what's happening here? So basically, there were like YouTube videos done on how to onboard on Binance on Friday, and that was the spike all about. And there were like thousands of new users just joining, waiting for that that video on Friday, and then getting converted the next week. So that was amazing. So the content comes in various forms, and it's not just like paid acquisition. It is definitely a part of it that we have, but there is a lot of investment that is happening on the content side, and yeah, education.
And Nanda, I mean, like, are the traditional acquisition channels available to you as a marketer, or do you have other channels that you have to tap into to drive growth?
I mean, aside from the sort of organic and growth hacking means like Shaun has mentioned in terms of community and content, like Krishna has mentioned as well. I think I want to say, if there's anybody from Google and Facebook on this webinar, open it up, guys. Take our money. Come on, seriously.
Plus one.
You mean take your crypto?
Yeah, take my crypto. I mean, like it's been a struggle for us in terms of actually, I mean, we've not had much money to begin with, since last year, and then we've started to spend just literally like 2-3 months ago, because we have crypto on our names, and even though we've gone pretty light content, we can only on Facebook and IG, we can only boost posts. On Google, we've been kind of like, putting up so many different contents, and we still can't get on. So I just think that, from that perspective, we had to be very, very creative in terms of approaching the customer acquisition, referrals, content, community base. We've even made like a group called TKO Angels, where they're basically our diehard militant groups, a community that basically gets us quite a lot of acquisitions. So yeah, I mean, the traditional channels, publishers, media, yes, of course, they're a lot more open than the likes of Facebook and Google at this point in time. But we hope things will change, and they realize that crypto money is just as good as FMCG or CPG money, right? let's hope for the best. But I mean, yeah, our handicap is that we've got crypto in our name. That's all. Yeah.
Right on. So I think there's been a lot of ground covered here, but I'd like to maybe pull a question out from the audience and see if one of you want to take a stab at it. I see one that seems to have quite a few upvotes. With most cryptocurrencies being decentralized commodity, what are your thoughts on central banks setting up measures to regulate the beast, and how would it impact the HODLers like me? For those of you who don't know what HODL means, it's hold on for dear life. Anyone want to stab that one? Bueller?
Bueller. I think only our generation would know that, Ronen.
The dinosaur generation.
Yeah. I might be able to take a stab at it, but I mean, I think to a certain extent that I mean, Indonesia is probably one of the most in terms of in Southeast Asia being one of the most highly regulated countries in terms of crypto, right? We've got a government body which is called Bapepti, which is under the Ministry of Trade, that was established in 2019, and then the regulation was formed from there. And obviously there's also that central bank sort of digital currency that's that they're talking about to build like a digital rupiah essentially. This is something where I think, again, my point earlier is legitimizing the crypto industry, right? Regulating it actually for us is not an issue, right? Because I think it is, the regulation is to protect the users, the consumers, and the customers of these exchanges, is not to kind of halt the growth. It's not supposed to halt the growth of the industry itself. So it is by means of legitimizing the industry, to be honest. So if you are a holder, then yeah, it only benefits you, because as the let's look what happened in 2018 when the market crashed. It took 2 years to actually recover, but the same crash happened just a few months ago. It took 2 months to recover to where it is now, right? So 2-3 months to recover. So 2 years versus 2 months. And people say, oh, what's the reason for that? And I say, well, the number of people actually investing in crypto has probably multiplied by tenfold, right? And that's the reason why institutions selling, retail is taking, right? Retail is selling, institutions taking, so I guess yeah, coming from an Indonesian point of view, I think having regulations is not a bad thing. I think it only strengthens the value of your crypto.
Awesome. So yeah.
Sorry, Ronen, if I can just add a point, I think like what Nanda mentioned, if I can just try to bridge the gap between the crypto world and like the startup world, I think when you think about cryptocurrency, when you invest in a cryptocurrency, the thought process with that and investing in a startup is very similar. Right? You're looking at the team, you're looking at the business model, the use case, you're looking at the shareholding, the tokenomics. And so I think even when you put that into context of a startup, there's going to be regulations coming. When Uber was, rampant and growing so rapidly in different parts of the world, regulations were stepping in to figure out like, okay, how should we regulate an industry like that? But I think fundamentally that thought process of investing or holding on to that currency shouldn't be different, because at the end of the day, with a great team, with a great business model, with a great use case, regulations could come in. I think they should to kind of figure out like, how do we legitimize certain processes and business model along the way. But with a great team in place, they will figure a way out how to overcome those obstacles and build an even better product that's secure, stable, and great for the industry. So I think when you kind of put that into the context of investing in a company or in a startup, and that cryptocurrency is actually very similar. So I think to Stuart's point on like how will it impact holders like himself, it's really the same as you investing in a company. There's going to be competition coming. There's going to be regulations coming in. As long as you're investing in a great product, a great team, I think all these things will normalize by itself at the end of the day, and you will be holding on to a great product or great shares in that sense of that company or of that token.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, the regulation that kicks in crypto is actually much faster in the cycle. If you look at just the app space, for example, it took like how long? Over 10 years to kind of decide who is going to be the gatekeeper and the regulator of the space. So I think it's all very interesting. Just to, as we want to kind of wrap this session up, Anmo, I'd like to, like you've heard a lot from everyone. MoEngage seems to be at the cutting edge of technology, and you guys have obviously been doing some amazing stuff in the space. What can we expect, in the next 12 months, that you guys see in engagement and where this is all headed?
Yeah, thanks for actually throwing that across to me. We have been watching the space and have been kind of trying to build a product roadmap to largely focus around the key markets that we operate in. I think some of the areas which I feel will get or begin to get more important, not that they already are not, would be a CDP, enriched CDP platforms, which will probably start ingesting more data points from users from the various touch points that the brands are engaging with them on. This will, of course, then be able to utilize more machine learning capabilities to drive hyper-personalization. I think everything will be centering around the user, as Shaun had very rightly put it. So the more power we have for the brands to do this, the better it is. Some of the other things which I have also been noticing, and there's been a lot of requests coming in for that, is to be able to operationalize the data warehouse. So everyone's gone bazookas collecting data. They've all collected it, and now some of them are like, okay, now what do we do with it? So can we get the right platforms to actually make them actionable or activate this data? So that's another area which is developing over the next few years. Couple of other things which I feel could be important, especially with crypto coming into place and a lot more communication happening through the mobile app, are things like push amplification, which is becoming an increasing challenge in the region with the proliferation of Chinese OEMs. And how they're not able to receive push notifications at times because they're trying to cut off some processes in the back end while they're trying to be feature rich. At the same time, there is no, they're trying to save the battery life as well. So these are some areas where there's a lot of development happening. And finally, I think one important factor that we have come to now is the ability to predict. Everyone wants this superpower. Machine learning has been able to give us that. So far, we have been operating in a world of rule-based segmentations and past data based on what the user has done in the last X amount of time. How about now predicting what's the likelihood of this particular user to actually engage with us or this particular user to churn? This sort of information is gold. It was not available before, but now we are at that stage. So I see a massive adoption in this area as well as we continue to scale up over the next 12 to 24 months.
I love it. Predictive analytics, and it's the way of the future, right?
Yeah.
This has been excellent, and I know I can't see the audience, but based on the engagement, the questions, thank you so much. You guys have been awesome. Not you guys on the panel, the audience, but yes, you guys have also been pretty awesome yourselves.